Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to 101 on Arsenal, and we are here live to talk about the one thing that concerned us the most in the summer, and that is Arsenal's first 10 games in the Premier League. Now, we've been throwing up the graft and for weeks and weeks and weeks. A lot of the members wanted to kind of even change the predictions that they made, but this is what we have voted for. We made our bed, and now we got to lie in it, and we're going to have a look at that. And we're also going to have a look at some of the most important polls that you guys who are watching in the chat have been looking at for a couple of weeks and a couple of days, really. Some very, very interesting opinions from you guys out there in regards to the direction of the team, where should we go, who was player of the month, and things like that. So we'll have the panel look at that, and we'll all take a look and see if we can kind of dig into that and give our own views and opinions. So let me go around the clock and see how my guys are doing. What's going on, Ebony? How you doing, man? Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It'll be better if, once we get back into Europe again. But yeah, everything's fine. It's cold outside. I'm in my bed. I've got one more early shift for the week tomorrow. Then I'm off for 2 weeks. Yay! So yeah, so it's all good. It's all good. I must say that I've been impressed with the team for the past couple of months, but it can only get better.
Yeah, Neomis, I don't know if you saw the video. I've been having fun dropping videos daily, man, because I'm just playing around with people, just throwing in gifts and beer jokes to everybody. I'm just having fun, man. I'm having fun. Like, all my people are asking me, hey, Apollo, how you doing? I'm just like, winning. It feels great, man. And I tell you what, because you know what it is? I just want this team to be competitive. I've got no kind of restrictions or no kind of false expectations. I just want to have watching competitive football. I don't want to turn up to games we don't play well and we're losing. So we're turning up to games, we're competing, and we're not winning all the time, but we're winning most of the time, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, and you know what? To be honest, I'm very happy with that as well. Like, even when I know we're gonna get into it, but the last couple games in particular for me, I think were the big surprise. And I just think it's brilliant. Like, I don't expect to win every single game, but like you said, it's all about a competitive game. Like, we've got football in a couple weeks. Like, yes, I expect to lose that, but let's go put in a competitive performance. Missed chances, that's fine, but I just want to see Arsenal play well, and that's where we are right now. So I don't think any Arsenal fan has anything to complain about, especially when we look at what's going on with Spurs right now. Like, I know they think that they should be happy, but I'm just letting people know right now that this Mourinho 2.0, and this will all end really badly for them in 18 months once again. So yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, it's funny. When I dropped my video yesterday, I had this thing where I was talking about Conte is this type of person, and then I said, so is Mourinho, and then Conte is this type of person, so is Mourinho, and I was just like, as it clicked to me and it became clearer, for me, it looks like it could be, not saying it will be, but it could be exactly the same type of deal as the Jose Mourinho deal, because he's a high profile, and look, Jose Mourinho is more established than Conte, no two ways about it. He's won a lot more and at the highest level, Champions League, than Conte. Conte is not as accredited as Mourinho. So in regards to that, and we've got Spurs fan here, Kieran. Big shout out to you, Kieran, in the house. Big shout out to Andrew. Big shout out to you. Andrew says Neil is looking calm, no pelting about stuff. Kuke saying Apollo back at work. Yeah, I've been back at work. How's it been? It's been all right. They've been going easy on me, and I'm doing half days at the moment. So they've cut down the hours that I've worked. They've cut down my workload, and big shout out to you, Lyrica. Big respect to you. And I think I had butterflies in my stomach last week, just kind of waiting for the brunt of work to come and see the flood of pressure and everything else. And I've been doing a lot of training this week and a lot of spreadsheets, and it's been good. It's been good, and I feel great. I feel great. Kieran said, but Levy finally pulled his finger out and is going to have Conte money. Well, I hope so, because they didn't really have Mourinho money, so I hope that he does. And the question is if you don't do it for a guy like Mourinho, why would you do it for Conte? That's where I'm a bit confused, Kieran. If Mourinho comes in, you'd expect to give him money, otherwise the team ain't going to change. So now Conte's coming. Are you saying that Levy's learnt his lesson from that and will give Conte money? You can see how it's helped Arteta. They've backed him 100%, 110%, and now they're beginning to deliver the goods. So
I'd have liked to have been there as a fly on the wall to hear that conversation between Levy and Conte, because remember in the summer Conte is like, nah, this team's got no ambition. So what's changed? Is it the money?
Well, yeah, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall when Harry Kane turned up for practice on the first day. Babu, what's going on, Babu? Big shout out to you. Says, good stuff, guys. From Facebook here, keep up the good work. Yeah, listen, we try, man, we try, but we can only do it with you guys' support. So, Tony, how you getting on, man?
Very well, brother. You know what? You and I are both huge sport lovers. We like a lot of different sports. We watch and study tape. We study statistics. And sport is one of them things that ultimately it gives you great pleasure, but it also gives you great frustration. So, you know, I love that Arsenal right now are doing the business. A couple of other teams that I support, Real Madrid, are doing well. And then you got like other teams like Miami Dolphins and Detroit Pistons, where you're like, you know, what the. But, you know, I love my sport. I went to the boxing on Saturday. I really, really enjoyed that. It was great to be out and about watching live boxing again at the O2. So, yeah, doing well.
Excellent. And Vincey, how are you doing, Vincey?
Me, I'm all good, man. Evening, family. Yeah, man, I'm just buzzing, like, just on the back of what Tony says, really, just enjoying sport and just seeing how things are progressing from a fantasy perspective for NFL. With Arsenal, I'm just on a mellow tip, really. The season, I'm just going to ride the wave of how the season is.
I see you smiling. You're saying that, and you're smiling at the same time. That makes me feel good.
I tell you what, I've just seen Alexis Sanchez score for Inter Milan. It's
it's been good
to see that guy score and be happy, because he's had a torrid time.
We got some Bayesian chat in the chat. Some Bayesian in the chat there.
Yeah, Andrew is Bayesian.
Yeah, my Bayesian brother, man, what's going on there, boy? Y'all good? Nice, man, nice.
Oh God.
Yeah, man, I'm just I think I'm smiling because we're going to be on a roller coaster right now. We're riding high as Arsenal fans, and it's good. So you got to smile when we're doing good, and you got to be able to deal with the lows when it's going to come, and it will come. But we're going to come back up there. The good thing is we're doing it with youth, you know. So yeah, I'm in good spirits, man. Good spirits.
Excellent. So
what I tell you guys earlier, let the kids play.
Yeah. So guys, let's get right into it. So let's break down. Obviously, not everybody's here, but let's break down our decisions and where we felt we went right and where we went wrong. And so I'll talk about mine first. I'll run down the 10 games. As you guys know, I went into this season with the lowest expectations because I just didn't think the team was very good. I thought that the transfers were positionally correct, but the players were unknown quantities outside of Odegaard and maybe Ben White. We didn't really know that much about the other players, if I'm honest. So I went into it very pessimistic rather than optimistic. And I think that the fact that they've had 17 points, which, by the way, congratulations to Nabil. We did a big, nice spread on the 101 forums to him. Congratulations for him for getting it right. But I thought 12 points was what the team was capable of doing. And I thought at best they would get 15, at best. And then probably at worst, it'd be around where Neomis went. So Brentford shocked me, but I think it shocked everybody else because, as I said, I think that if this was any other team or any other time, they would have cancelled the game. No team with that amount of players out, 6 or 7 players out with COVID, the game should not have gone ahead. That's just unfair. That I don't think that any other sport would have allowed that to carry on, especially because it's COVID. Because it's COVID, you have to take different measures of protocol. Yet the FA allowed it to go on.
But do we not see American football do the same thing? Because you can pretty much look at every team now in the American NFL and see one team is decimated with injuries, with COVID. With COVID infections.
I think the difference with that is that that's a good point. You're right. If a team still has to field players, if they can't field players, last season they cancelled the game and rescheduled them. Which, as you know, for American football, baseball, or NBA, rescheduling, it costs millions, so they just don't like to do it.
Don't do it, no.
And this season they just said, look, if you can't field the team, we'll defer the points, and not only will we do that, but we'll bun you again and don't pay the players who have got COVID. So that's. I mean, I sent a Facebook post today about New York. New York has just started. Everyone knows about the Kyrie Irving thing, and he's not vaccinated, so he can't play. But it's the whole state of New York. And from today, from a few days ago, fire, ambulance, police, everything. You can't have a job unless you're vaccinated. And that means more to me than anything because I caught COVID from an essential worker who, was coming into the home and had to do work and whatever. That's how I caught it, and it nearly killed me. So if you're telling me that you've got people out there who are working as essential business that have to come into your homes, or you go to certain places and they are there and they're infectious, like more infectious, because remember, if you've had the vaccine, you're still infectious, but at a 24% rate. So for every 16 people I infect, someone who's unvaccinated will infect 64. So that's the reason why everything is about doing your due diligence for your community, looking after yourself and protecting other people. But I have to say that New York has set it in stone, and they are not going to waver from it. And their cases are rapidly going down all across the board in New York. So whether there's other states that are doing it as well, but New York is the most well established. So I think moving on from the Brentford game, I think that was unfair. Then to go into Chelsea with 5 players under the age of 21 as well. I mean, you're just asking for trouble, aren't you? I'm surprised it was only 2-0. Yeah, I'm surprised. But I think what surprised me most of all is on the back end of the results, looking at the Aston Villa and the Leicester. That's when I was like, wow. That's when I was like, what is going on? That this team is coming together. And that surprised me to the point where, look, man, because for me, that's where, if you look at my points, 6 of my points delegated came from those last 2 games. I was pretty much around the ballpark before that. But that Villa and that Leicester, look at the Leicester. Nobody on the panel gave us a chance. Not even Tom said that we were going to win. When you got that on there, look, a 0.3 points. That's what the average was. So anyway, that's me, man. Neomis, break it down.
To be honest, similar to you, I also thought we would have beaten Brentford, but fine. We didn't get any points from that game. But apart from that, I was pretty much spot on. Apart from Spurs, I didn't think that we would win that. Even at best, I thought we'd get a draw with how everything was. But it was really the Villa and Leicester games whereby, that's what threw everything completely off. And that's the reason why Nabil has ended up with 17 points from 10 games. And now Arsenal have ended up with that. So the only thing I could put that down to is one of the biggest criticisms that I had of Mikel Arteta last season is that he doesn't adapt to the players that he has, and he wants the players adapt to him. And he changed it to whereby he adapted what was best for the players. and he did it one game, and he learned from it from the next game, and continued adapting, and that's how things are going on. And I hope things continue like that, because I don't want to go back to where we were, wondering and just on edge every single time that we watch Arsenal play. And if Mikel Arteta continues across this route, at least until the end of the season, if he does this by the end of the season, I'm pretty sure that at bare minimum we'll end up with seventh. I think most likely it will be six. Um, I blame Neomis. I went for 9-2. No, it's not me, because Arteta decided to change his ways. He changed his ways. He chose to adapt to the players. That's what changed. If he'd stuck to how he was thinking last season, trust me, like it would have been closer to somewhere where me and Apollo was. I guarantee you that. Especially those last two games wouldn't have happened. And it wasn't like Aston Villa, Leicester played badly. It's just that Arsenal were better. And we had the fact that we had better players showed in that game, and we had the tactics right for the players. Whilst I think that Leicester and Aston Villa, they're trying out this 3-4-1-2, and I think it really hindered them. If they had stuck to their tried and tested 4-2-3-1, I think maybe it would have been closer. I think that's where maybe you would have seen two draws instead of maybe two wins, maybe a draw and a win. Just because I have a lot of respect for those teams, especially Leicester. But like, if we can, I just want us to continue around this route of adapting to the players. We'll be fine, because next season, I looking in the summer, especially of our attacking lineup, Arteta gets to really put his stamp on that forward line, because we're going to need a replacement for Aubameyang, not at the end of next season. And Lacazette needs to be replaced as well, because we've seen the impact he's had on the squad this season. So you have to kind of figure out, how do you want to go? Because Lacazette and Aubameyang are the bulk of our goals. So in the summer, we got to sign goals. And this is a chance for Arteta to do it like how he wants to do it. Does he want to go with a false nine and have midfielders, goal-scoring midfielders? He can do that. Does he want to go with a different type of striker? He can do that. He can really lay his mark down. But right now, just adapt to the players. And yeah, that's what it is for me. So hopefully the next 9 games that we have will end, because that way we'll be halfway in the season once we get to 19 games. That is the real test, because when you get to really be honest, I've always managed to predict where Arsenal will finish at the end of the season after that halfway point, after 19 games. If Arsenal are like 6, and we finished on 56 points last season, so 28 points. If we're on anything from 30 points and above after 19 games, then I'm pretty sure we're going to end up 6 and above. Simple as that.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I said we're going to finish 8th. Now I think that we can finish 6th. I think we can even finish 5th. If injuries and all that sort of goes on our side. But if we get a few injuries, especially in the midfield where we're really light, or it defense, and that could hurt. That could hurt that for me. But I think we could get 6, no problem with that. Ashek, good to see you. It says greetings. I don't know why, but I'm so excited for the Liverpool game. Yeah, the reason why I'm excited for the Liverpool game is because that's where I'm going to use a phrase from Tony Cox, my buddy of 42 years. I'm going to use his term. That's where we're going to show our mettle. Yeah. That's what Tony would say, and that's what I'm saying. That's where we're going to see what these boys are going to be like, because we're so bad off the ball and we're not good in possession. We are those teams are our kryptonite. We see other teams go there and do well because they get the basics right. Arsenal haven't been able to get the basics right. We're so poor in the midfield over the years that we capitulate when we come against it. As soon as a team presses us, we're dead. But now we can sort of handle. Now we've got a goalkeeper that can distribute the ball. We've got players who can close down the press. We've got the front players who are working harder. So this team is sort of more adaptive to the press. So interesting to see what will happen when Liverpool come at us, and whether it would be the same result. This is Lucas said, Arsenal will beat Watford and lose to Liverpool. Yeah, I think so as well. Kuke says, we'll score a lot of goals from set pieces. Wow, give the man a medal with a big Sam inscription. Sam Allardyce. Then he says, yeah, of course. Yeah, I think Liverpool's too much for us. I think they're too much for a lot of teams. Ashek says Tavares must start all their near future games. Yeah, I think that's a problem. I think that they might take their time in getting Tierney back. There is no rush. Last season, it was terrible when Tierney wasn't in the team and they rushed him back and everything was all over the place. I think now I don't think that they're going to rush him back. I think, and he's not even 100% anyway. So I just think that they're going to wait till after the international break. Kuke said, I'm happy. I'm happy for G. Some fans just can't get behind a guy who should have been sacked twice in their eyes. Yeah. And then seeing some good signs in most of our recent style with patterns of play, basically just the Villa and Leicester City games. If we can continue to build on them, I can see Arteta doing well this season. D. Miller, he hasn't put his name on the waivers at the top. D. Miller says, I disagree. I think Arteta has adapted his tactics to the opponent consistently. So this is it's agreeing with Neomis. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it hasn't. Now he has his players on the pitch. He has to be getting the performances he wants. Yeah, to a point. Yeah, he still needs some strikers. But yeah, I totally 100% agree. African Cup of Nations, whether it goes ahead or not, will have a big impact on our season. As far as I'm concerned, they cancelled it, and so I don't know what's going on there at the moment. I think FIFA's view is that it's cancelled. UEFA and the FA still think that it's going ahead. I mean, I don't even know anymore. Ashik says, Ebony, us Martinez fans don't need to sit anymore on that transfer now, regretting it. It is what it is. I still wouldn't be begrudged to have Martinez as our goalkeeper. For me, we messed it up. And Ramsdale is a reaction to us messing that Martinez deal up. That's all there is to it. Whether it works out or it doesn't, the fact of the matter is, it's happened because they messed up in the first place. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ebony, your list. Actually, no, Tony's next. No, but Ebony's next on the thing. So, Ebony, you go next. Ebony, you said 14 points.
Yeah.
Talk us through where your mind was and where you think you could have shifted your score higher.
Okay, well, I was shocked at Brentford, to be honest. I mean, this is no disrespect to Brentford, but they were the team, or they are the team that was just promoted, and we shouldn't be losing to promoted teams. Okay, so I was shocked at that, like everybody, except Vincey. But Chelsea and Man City wasn't too shocked at all, particularly Man City. And the fact that, we lost 5-0 there. Xhaka, some people's favourite player, gets sent off, which didn't surprise me. So, and Man City are tough to beat at the Etihad anyway. Norwich, I had faith in Norwich. Burnley, what did I give Burnley? I gave us a 3 there because I just knew that I had a feeling that we were going to win. Spurs, I was a bit on the fence, and I gave them a point because of the way we had played in the first 3 games, and because it's Tottenham, and Tottenham tend to raise their game when they play us. But I wasn't expecting a win. Brighton, I always say that Brighton are a banana skin, and that's exactly what they are. So I wasn't surprised when we drew. Crystal Palace, at home, we could have lost that because we were so bad in the second. We were actually dreadful as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not surprised. So I'm not too surprised that we got a draw there. Aston Villa, they've beaten us at home. Wasn't expecting that to be a win at all. And Leicester, they're tough to beat at the Walker Stadium. I was actually surprised that we won. I'm glad that we won, but Leicester are usually a hard team to beat at home. But I mean, it's saying that, I said that we get 14 points. in the last 2, 3, 4 games, I've been impressed, and that's how I want us to play. That's what I like to see. You know, playing with some grit. You know, defending well, passing well. You know, being off the ball. You know, like working and not just walking around. And the fact is, we haven't had Xhaka. You know, how long has Xhaka been out? And we've played better without him. You're on mute.
Sorry about that.
Oh.
Sorry, I'm having a bit of a coughing fit. Andrew says top 3 is sewn up in his opinion. What?
I think that's a bit too.
No,
I think that's a bit too
no.
premature.
No, Andrew. No, Andrew. Stop it. Don't do it to yourself.
But then again, he's optimistic. So there's nothing wrong with being optimistic.
Yeah, great. Be positive.
Do you know what? I'm gonna.
Sorry, I beg to differ. Who's going to break the top 3? Who else other than Man City, Liverpool, and Chelsea is going to be top 3? Who else?
No one.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be optimistic, but you know, it's a bit too premature.
It's a reality. The 3 teams that spent the most money in the country have got the best squads by far,
and
there's no one else breaking in there.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I read the question wrong. Yeah.
They've got the best managers in there as well. They've got the best managers there.
Yeah. G says, Apollo, how many mistakes would Xhaka have made in our last several games?
Loads.
Arteta looks really like a really smart guy. By the way, this guy was Arteta out, everybody. He's now Arteta in. It's reported that he had earlier rejected the job. Yes, he did, because it was only provisionally a head coach. It wasn't going to give him the control. He doesn't have much control of the transfers anyway. He has a seat at the table. I mentioned that Emery didn't even have a seat at the table in transfers. But yeah, he has a seat at the table on transfers, although that's still Edu's job. But it said, why would a rookie reject? Sorry, guys, my... Oh, dear.
Do you want me to read that?
Yeah, please.
Okay, if you just wrote it down, or I shall write it down. It says here, Apollo, how many mistakes would Xhaka have made in the last several games? Arteta looks like a really smart guy to me. It is reported that he had earlier rejected the job. But why? Why would a rookie reject such an opportunity? Could it be that he told Raul and company, look, I am good, but for me to take the job, I need X investment and X time. But the guys couldn't agree because they needed improvement fast.
Yeah, I would sign up to that. I definitely agree with that. He didn't come in. It didn't work out because he wasn't going to get the deal he wanted. That's why they made him a head coach to a manager. So he's got a part. He's at the table. He's in the discussion. And that's the only way how he feels that he can improve things. And I totally agree. I think if he's envisioned, people don't understand how much power he had at Man City. When he left Man City, that was a big gaping hole in their team. Because he had so much influence with, and he was giving Pep Guardiola some of his ideas as well. They were bouncing off each other. And I don't know whether you guys have been in business, running business, making those type of high-level decisions before. But it's a great synergy when you're able to do that with somebody in a position of power. And Guardiola always knew that he was going to lose him, just like he did Vieira. But I think that what we are seeing now is we're starting to see signs of these, especially with the defense. You could work out the defense ages ago. He's got that on lockdown. Them guys know what they're doing. My fear was losing David Luiz was going to hurt that, but not really. And then he's actually strengthened it by bringing in Ramsdale. So, I look, I'm not saying this because I'm Arteta in. I'm saying this because I have factual proof of what I'm talking about. All the figures, especially from a defensive standpoint, number 3 in the league last year, number 2 in set pieces. Look, we're even scoring from set pieces. So forget defending set pieces. We're actually scoring. We've scored 50% of our goals from set pieces this season. That's mad. Before in previous seasons, it was like 6%, 12%. We're scoring half of our goals now from set pieces. I mean, it's sign me up. Ashek says it's still nearly 2 months, but everyone from the panel suggests one transfer or a loan to recall what they would want in January. Oh, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Can someone jump in before me on that one?
Martinelli. Not Martinelli, Saliba. Don't care what anyone says.
Ooh, bring
It's
one
high. It's high
person.
time. It's high time. But I know what people have said about Saliba, but we cannot sit here and say that we haven't watched him do well in France and not expect. And yes, fair enough. The question will be asked: well, where's he going to go? Who's the manager going to drop? Maybe he can start off by being a squad player. Come on in the second half as a sub. I don't know, but it would be nice
Ooh.
to have that extra booster in the defense.
I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know about this. I think it's a great question. Me personally, I'd like Saliba to stay where he is because I don't have much faith in the manager playing a quality player like Saliba, where he should be playing in the first team or interacting with a formation that allows him to play. So I'd be happier Saliba actually remaining away from Arsenal right now until Arteta shows that flexibility that he actually wants to play three centre backs. If any player that I would want back, and again, this is going to be a test of the management with Arteta, would be Guendouzi coming back. Because with Guendouzi, he has the ability that can impact and assist the likes of Partey and Sambi in midfield with the passing. So if we have the situation where we have Smith Rowe fatigued or Odegaard is off form, we have somebody else who's going to be able to impact play. So it's a great question.
Yeah, it is a great question. I don't think
It's a huge
Guendouzi
challenge
will
on
be.
Arteta.
Yeah, I've had a long time to think now. I think that we should go out in January and bring in Marco Rocca on loan. You guys know he was at Espanyol. He's only 24. He moved from Espanyol to Bayern Munich, and it just hasn't worked out for him there. He's not playing. He's really unhappy, and now Bayern Munich is saying that he could be sent out on loan next year. If I was Arteta, not Arteta because it's Edu's job. If I was Edu, I would pick up the phone, call Bayern Munich, and I'd bring Marco Rocca here on loan because we're light in the midfield. We're light in that midfield area. I think that he would be the perfect person for me to bring in. There's Hector Herrera as well. He's at Atletico Madrid. He's 31 years old though, so I'm not really sure if he's. But then again, so is Aaron Ramsey. He's 31. I'd probably bring maybe one of those three in: Herrera, Rocco, or Aaron Ramsey. If I can get one of them guys in on loan in the new year, just to pad up the midfield because we're so light in the midfield. I know people might be talking about Xhaka might be coming back and
Stay where he is.
Yeah, I know, but I just think we need an extra body in the midfield, and I think that those three players, I think all of them would be available, and I'd be happy with either three if I'm honest.
Can I just ask those three players that you mentioned? Would they fit the actual model that Arsenal's trying to do for next season? So you bring these players on loan. A, would they fit the system? And B, would that then change the narrative of how we move forward next season with transfers? With those
definitely not Herrera and Ramsey, but definitely Marco Rocca would. Okay. Definitely he would. That's why I say he's 24, and Bayern Munich, they don't want him. It's not worked out. It was a bad deal. It didn't work out for both sides. But everybody was after this player when he was at Espanyol. Tony knows about him. Neomis knows about him. I would definitely bring him in for cover to put next to Maitland-Niles to pick up the slack if any of our midfielders go down. I'd definitely do that deal. But he would fit right on in. And there would be a potential to buy or to extend the loan in the summer.
Okay.
Right, so moving on, guys. Let's see. So we've done Ebony. Ebony, you finished yours, didn't you?
Yeah. What was I going to say? I was going to say that, as I said, Leicester was always going to be a tricky one. And we actually, when I think of Ramsdale's performance.
Wow.
You know, you have to understand that, you know, his heroics, for his heroics he deserved man of the match, because the saves that he made, you know, these are the types of saves that Martinez would have made. These are the types of saves that Leno would not have made. So you have to remember, and I hold my hands up, and I'll do it again. I was wrong about Ramsdale. I hold my hands up at that. I would even buy the shirt with his name on the back. I'll even cook him oxtail and white rice. That's how good he is. That's how good Leno isn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Tony, up steps yourself, who went for 15 points. You weren't far off, mate. You weren't far off.
No, I was quite optimistic. I mean, in all honesty, I don't consider myself to be that close, because when I look at the games that I thought we'd get the points in, some of them I got that widely wrong. So yeah, I mean, I think I'm not too far off, but yeah, there's a lot of teams in that similar point area between 15 and 17. I think there's at least probably seven teams sitting currently between 15 and 17. But yeah, no, I mean, it's good that, you know, we've got on this long unbeaten run now. Long may that continue.
And Vincey, you were on 13 points, which is just one ahead of me, actually.
Well, I think this is the situation. I look at this graph here, and it shows the mindset in which Arsenal went into the start of the season, and it was a huge frustration to Arsenal, to fans. And you have to keep it real. You know, Tony and myself, we were the only ones who, the Brentford game, looking at the way how Arsenal played pre-season, we looked shocking. You know, I rated the Chelsea game based on our previous history with Arteta and man management to maybe get a draw out of the game. But, you know, looking at the first three, Arsenal didn't set themselves up, you know, with their transfers to start the season off. And these are the things that, you know, when we're looking at predictions and looking at the way how we expect our team to play, that's where it's thrown most of us completely out of it. So at the back end, you see the results where, okay, Aston Villa and Leicester, where most of us really, it's a game where we could have got something out of. We did get something out of, but we didn't. Most of us didn't really predict that we were going to get wins out of, based on, guess what happened? A formation change. And this is the point I'm trying to say, is if we started the season, Arsenal, with a proper managed transfer management and getting the players in at the start of the season, our points total could be more. Yeah.
True. Yep.
And looking at the way how we played with that formation, we'd be moving further up the table. So I'm kind of happy that I've been proven wrong with 13, you know, because it's the way how, as fans, we want to be looking at our team. You know, for us to get 17 points, great, big shout out to Nabil. And it just sets us up. It sets us up for a tricky period, because the next 10 games, based on our history, we've got over Oktoberfest, and we did very well.
Yeah, I think Naomi said the same thing. Yeah.
We're going into November, and it's like, okay, so now if Arteta continues with this formation, what can happen? Because we can see how we can play, but we're going into a very tricky period where, you know, Christmas is going to be tough. It's going to be tough.
So I've got, let me come out of this, guys, and let me go to the people in the chat room, because it's your time now. We're going to go to your polls, which you have been doing all of this week. So we'll revisit every single one of them. Where's Aston Villa's? Right, okay. And then we'll get the feedback from the panel as well at the same time. So everybody in the chat on the forums were asked. And guys, you can chime in. You can chime in. You can come in with your answer anytime you feel fit. I said, where will Arsenal finish the season after the recent displays? 42% said top 4.
Wow.
That's mad.
Arsenal fans are happy right now.
But check it out. Leading the way was 44% saying 5th or 6th, which I agree with.
Yeah, that's more realistic.
8% said we'll sneak into we'll sneak into the Bottlers League. Bottlers League in 7th. I must have been drunk when I wrote that. I must have been drunk when I wrote that. I don't even remember saying that. And then at 8th we'll finish where we have for the last 2 seasons, only 6%. So guys, I'll open up the floor. You can come in when you want.
I agree with 5th or 6th. You know, I mean, I think what we need to remember is that we need to remember not to get too carried away. Yes, we've won our last 4 games. Yes, we've had some clean sheets. But at the same time, as the season progresses, you know, the season gets harder. And over the years, as recent history has shown with us, December is that difficult month, yeah, where we tend to fall off the wagon. So when that happens, we tend to play in December. We don't play very well. Come January, we pick up again, and then March we kind of slack. April we slack, and then get a little bit better in April, and then May we start to get better again. But in saying that, I try to be as optimistic as possible, as you know. However, I'm keeping my feet on the ground. And I'm just looking at the rest of the season to say that, you know, the games will get harder. We've still got Chelsea to play again. We've still got Man City to play. We've still got Liverpool to play for the first time. I'm just going to be realistic, and I'm going to go with the 44% that say 5th or 6th.
Looking at this chart, it shows me how desperate Arsenal fans are for European football. Because the first thing, you know, you stop and you look at this team after 10 games, we actually think we have a team that can play Champions League football.
Yeah, we don't know what to do with ourselves in the week anymore. Do you know how hard it is? Do you know how hard it is for me and the Omis to make content for this team with no games?
This is what I'm saying.
Quite easy.
I'm just looking at this, and it's just like glaring out at me. After 10 games, we suddenly think, the way how we played, we can actually play Champions League football. In the second, and the second stat is showing to me, well, yeah, we're suddenly going to be so consistent, and Arteta's going to be so. Everything's just going to be synergy right now, moving forward. That we need. Arsenal fans have been. It's been a hard midweek for us over the past 10 games. We're watching football,
do you hear what Bertram's saying to you?
Listen, man, I'm just telling you. I'm just looking at it. I keep it real, man. It's like that's what just glares out at me, because I know that for me, I think we needed at least 1 or 2 seasons out of Europe to get our club back to where it needs to be. So. It's promising to see how we're playing football. I just think it may be too soon for top 4, 5th or 6th, but I'm happy to be proven wrong if the synergy continues.
Yeah, I don't think it's Tony and the Omis haven't answered yet, but I don't think it's within the realm of disappointment. I don't think we're reaching it. I think the people at the top are definitely reaching. I don't know what's got into 42%. I think that's a very high number for top 4. But
it's optimistic.
I'm going to ignore that, and I'm just going to focus on the majority. Yeah, the majority. Although that could change with another 10, 20 votes, it could go the other way. Tony, Neomis.
I'll start. The top 4. Honestly, It would be very nice if we did, but it's not going to happen. The top three that I know we've already mentioned, they're just too good. They've got too much quality. And Man United, the players that they have, uh, they'll be able to sneak in there. Now, fifth and sixth is an interesting one because I definitely think that there's a battle there. And if
West
our
Ham will
top,
definitely get in there, bro. West Ham
yeah,
is a lock.
yes, like
Mm.
West Ham for me, they're gonna get a Europa League position. I actually have them as one of my favorites to win the Europa League. With how well that they are, and if they manage their squad right, and that's probably the only reason why I think that maybe West Ham might finish like sixth or something instead of fifth. But when you look at those two positions, who's vying for that? There's about 5 teams vying for them two positions,
Yeah,
including West Ham, Arsenal, Leicester, Spurs. You got dark horses like Aston Villa
and Everton.
and
Everton as well,
Everton.
yeah.
Yeah,
Don't sleep on Wolves as well. Like there are some teams. So this is
yeah.
why.
I think Bertram's right. Bertram's saying West Ham, Man United, and Leicester are our competition, which I said in the review. We
Yeah.
beat. What was good about winning last week was we beat a direct rival. He doesn't mention Spurs, but we beat a direct rival.
No, I get that, which is why I saw this poll earlier on today, and I'm one of the 8% who clicked the Bottlers League. I don't view it as the Bottlers League, but I think that
Wow.
worst case scenario, like I just need European football back, people. Like I can't. Like my Thursdays are boring. I have nothing planned for tomorrow.
I guess you're not sitting there like this. On the
Well, you
Thursday.
know what? Tony,
Yeah.
for some reason, has been tremendously quiet. I didn't expect him to be, especially with an open floor conversation. And he's the last one to speak.
Yeah, I like to take in some of the stuff. You know, I don't want to be hogging the platform.
Tony, look what Bertrand just said.
I like that. But he cannot revive the dead.
Well, oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
God.
And I
So,
agree. I
in
actually
terms
agree.
of like where we're going to finish at the end of the season, as I mentioned, top three to me is a lock. And then if you look at the three teams you just mentioned, West Ham, Leicester, and Man United, you got to say, well, we could probably better Leicester. We've already done them once this season. The acid test will be Man United and West Ham. So we'll wait and see how we get on against those two teams. But everybody else outside of the top three should be seen as a beatable team. Now, I think it was Ebony who said we will probably have a little jink in the season at some point where we can't buy a win, we can't buy a goal. We've also got the issue, which hasn't been mentioned, of the African Cup of Nations in January.
Is that happening?
And that also ties into what you were saying about transfers. Because the place where we're going to need a transfer most desperately to come in and do a job in January, if possible, is midfield. Because with El Neni and Partey going, with Aubameyang and Pepe. Is Pepe going?
Yeah, Pepe's Ivory Coast.
Yeah, Pepe. You know, we still got Lacazette, we still got Martinelli, we still got Balogun, we still got Nketiah. So we got Martinelli, we got plenty of options up front. But midfield, we're going to be strapped. Lokonga, Maitland-Niles, and Xhaka is going to be our midfield trio. And you kind of go, I see Nyomis already covering his face and go, oh my God.
Bacchanal, man.
My God. So yeah, I think whatever business needs to happen in January needs really to happen in November, where we're already at now, because there needs to be a deal struck now. so that on the 1st of January, a man could come in and start training. He knows he's going to be part of a unit of midfielders, and he needs to get up and running to speed very, very quickly.
So, Tony, which one are you then? Top 4, 5th or 6th, Bottlers League or 8th?
I'm not amiss to say top 4, you know. I'm
Optimistic.
I'm not amiss to say top 4, because as I said, to me, there's only 3 teams that are above us right now that I would actually turn around and go, you know what, they're probably a better team, and overall we will struggle to overcome those 3. Well, funnily enough, one of them has come and we've overcome them. In fact, we overcome them at their ground. So that leaves 2. And I look at Man United and I think from week to week, game to game, I'm like, you know what? They're not really that great.
I'm looking at that. Yeah, he hasn't got them. He ain't got them playing. They're great individual play. He ain't got them playing.
And once again, you look yesterday and you think, well, if it wasn't for Ronaldo, you're losing that game.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
So what happens when you put we know Tomiyasu marked Ronaldo out of the Juventus Bologna game when they played. We'd love to see Tomiyasu go against Ronaldo, or even Gabriel, who in my opinion is probably playing as the best centre-back in the league right now. So I would love to see that happen when it comes. I'm really looking forward to it. Tony, you can take this first one. Can
I just finish off on that Man United situation? When it comes to Man United, I don't think you get a worry that Cristiano is gonna run rings around players. He doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
He selects his runs. He's good at passing, but what he does is he selects where he's gonna run, how he's gonna run,
and he can finish, man.
Place where he can score a goal.
Yeah, and he can finish.
Outside of that, he ain't beating players like he used to do. He ain't, scoring phenomenal goals. He's just scoring goals.
Yeah, he's not drifting out on the left like he used to and set up goals. And his assist and chances created is an all-time low.
I've got to do everything to stop. As long as you keep him out, keep the supply to him cut, and you keep strong arm him in the box, he is going to be a threat. But I'd worry more about, Fernandes.
Yeah, man.
Can you keep him out the game? Because if you keep him out the game,
they're dead.
You really have negated Man United.
Yeah, if you keep him out the game
right now is a mess.
Bertram says go get Franco Kessie. Ryan says top 4 is achievable with consistency, but we need to score more from open play. I think that if you're scoring as well from set pieces, I think those things will just develop. Because we're already the 5th most creative team in the league. That's all you can ask for. I don't even talk about goals. I haven't done for weeks. I've just looked at that chances created stat. If that stat was where it was last season, where we were 18th, 19th, then I'd be concerned. But we're creating too many chances, man.
Can I just say Ryan's comment is very key, because the open play thing is what really will get you into the top 4. And this is where, if you look at the way how we're playing right now in these last 2 games, gives us the hope that actually, do you know what, the consistency moving up forward, that's top. We should be able to make top 4. Open play, scoring more goals. So it's a very good point.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Bertram on this one. We need more goals from the midfield. Goals from Smith Rowe, Saka, a Partey, chipping in with a couple here and there. I think that would be that will take the pressure off the strikers. And I want to see more of Eddie Nketiah. I want to see when Lacazette gets tired, I want to see Eddie come in and be, thunder and lightning. Lacazette is thunder and Nketiah is lightning. Just hit them with a 1-2 punch for a full-on 90 minutes. When Lacazette gets tired after 65, 70, bring on another man that brought them up a little bit more. And most importantly, I want to see Odegaard make use of what little time he might have, because he's probably sitting down thinking, what's going on there? I was their biggest summer transfer and I'm on the bench. So, you're on the bench for a reason, because you didn't play well. You had the game against Brighton. the other game against Crystal Palace, you were dreadful. That's why you're on the bench. So when you come on with 20 minutes, show me something. Show me something. Yeah.
Completely agree.
Move to the next question, guys. I said, which one of these players would you put back in the team? Now, there's some very difficult decisions we've talked about. Pepe for Saka, because we don't think Saka's pulling his weight, and we believe, some of us, that Pepe is more productive. Lacazette or Odegaard, I'm surprised that wasn't the one at 1%, because no one's willing to pull the trigger on that. Niles for Sambi, that's the one where people weren't touching. 1%. Tierney for Tavares is 26%. But most people said I wouldn't touch a thing. They'll go into Watford with the same team, and I agree with that. 59%.
So do I.
I think we can move across this one quickly, guys. I don't think any of you lot would disagree with that, would you?
No, keep it as it is. I agree with the 59%. You know, sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, Tony's like a dog with a bone. He ain't letting go. He ain't letting go of that Pepe for Saka thing, because you know, with Pepe in the team, we just talked about taking pressure on the strikers. Who did that last season when he came in the latter half of the season?
Pepe.
16 goals in 10 starts. Sorry, 10 goals in 16 starts. Sorry.
Yeah. I'd agree with Tony on this one. Definitely Pepe for Saka. It's not an indictment on Saka to a degree in the way how the team's playing with our consistency. But the guy, we've got to try and get him areas where he can get a rest so he can get back to the form that he was last season.
Yeah, I understand that, because sometimes players can suffer burnout. So I can understand Pepe for Saka. But like I said, sometimes if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
So this is probably the biggest question of the podcast today. Let me get rid of this. This is the one that I think gave the most confusion on the YouTube channel for them guys on the polls, because it's all over the place here. So Arsenal's next 5 games are Watford at home, Liverpool away, Newcastle. Sorry, what? Is that right? Watford at home, Liverpool away, Newcastle at home, Man United away, and Everton away. That's 2 tough away games there at Old Trafford and Goodison Park. How much points will they get from a possible 15? 8% said they'll win them all. And I think we know who one of those 8% is. I'm listening to you, Tom Aston. 62% said they will battle their way through to 8 to 13 points. 26% said they'll get about 7 to 9 points, which is average. It's acceptable. There's nothing wrong with 9 points out of 15. Nothing wrong with that, guys. And then it would be a bad period. We'll pick up 3 to 6 points. Terrible. Only 4% said that. So, guys, open the floor. Take it in turns. I have to take a breath because I've got to take my pump. My lungs have gone at the moment. So I'll be back in 5 minutes. But you guys, open up the floor and give your views. Where would you go from there? I'm back in a second.
Right. I'm not agreeing with the bottom one. I'm sorry. I'm too optimistic for that. Okay. So I'm gonna be realistic, and I'm gonna go with they will battle their way to 10 to 13 points. But in saying that, all of those teams are beatable. Every single one's beatable.
Liverpool, really?
Liverpool are different. Liverpool can be beaten.
Liverpool at Liverpool.
Before. Yes.
I think Liverpool are beatable at home if you set the team right and
Exactly.
you have and the right.
Come on, bro. Let's be realistic.
Tony, listen, we can pull off a Brighton.
We can draw. Yeah, but let's be honest. Liverpool, when they're on song, every team has what you're asking for is for Liverpool to not turn up one day and for us to play our best game of the season.
And sometimes we don't even need to play our best game, but we need to be best organised.
Yes.
You need to for Liverpool.
I agree.
You need to for Liverpool. They're not going to slack. You give them any little inch. Look at that guy, Mo Salah. That guy is a phenomenal goal scorer right now.
He's the best player in the league right now.
He's the best player in the world right now. Forget the league. The best player in the world right now is Mo Salah.
He's dangerous. Him, Mane, and
you got to look at that game, and you're telling me that you think we can keep him out for 90 minutes.
If with the right players, with the right team, he can be kept quiet.
Yeah, good luck with that.
If we perform organised, it's possible. I don't write Arsenal off if they do the right things.
I love your optimism. I love your optimism. But listen, I would like for us to beat Liverpool. Nothing would give me greater pleasure. However, I'm just being a realist. I don't see that as a place where we can go and expect to pick up 3 points. So just being a realist tells me, let me take a point at best. I'll be happy with a goal off a bum and we draw 1-1, you know.
But did you think that we were going to beat Leicester?
Yeah,
away?
Well, at the beginning of the season, I didn't. But by the time we got to the game, I'm like, yeah, why not? They're not showing me any. They're not showing us that they're anything like Liverpool.
Okay, so
that's my feeling about Liverpool.
Hold on, how many points would you give though from that though? Just out of interest.
So if I'm gonna go with it, let me go. We have to beat Watford at home. We lose at Liverpool. We have to beat Newcastle at home.
Yep, that's what
I believe we can beat Man United away, and I believe we can beat Everton away. So that automatically puts me in the 12 to the 10 to 13.
12 points. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm at 10 points. But this is the thing. This is the gap. You think 10 to 13 is a wide gap. I'm looking at the possibility of Newcastle having a new manager by the time we play them. And even though
what would that do?
Hold on.
They still got.
We're not talking about players, bro. No, Tony, it's not. Okay, you just put an analogy about Liverpool being way ahead of us. We expect to beat them. Okay, I did not expect Arsenal to beat Palace. Okay, we're home. Look at how we played against Palace. The point I'm trying to say to you, don't look at the name of the club. Look at what Arsenal do against them in that situation. If they do the right things, we have an opportunity to win. So just because we go up to Newcastle, we should spank them. Yeah, we just scored 5 against Newcastle. But are you stopping to look at the history? How many times have we scored 5 against Newcastle?
We're at home, bro.
Over the past 3 seasons.
Bruv, we're at home.
It doesn't matter.
Newcastle at home.
We played Newcastle at home and we conceded goals. The point I'm trying to say to you is don't just look at the club and think, you know what, we should spank them. If this Arsenal team goes out there and lays eggs as what we've used to, as what we normally do, and we come pull out a last-minute goal to equalise or win, it's not as wide as it is on paper. This team's got to go out and perform.
I get that,
but I think 10 points.
That, but let's be honest. If you're an Arsenal fan, you expect to be a weak. Newcastle are in the bottom 3, bro, and we're playing at home,
bro. What happened when you played Norwich? What happened when you played Norwich? What happened when you played Norwich?
We beat them.
What was the score?
What was the score? I can't remember.
Was it 2-1? No.
Was it 2-0? I can't remember now.
Yeah. Okay. The point is, we should be licking those teams. It's not about being an Arsenal fan. It's what this team and how they play. So I'm going 10 points. I personally think we're going to hit 10 points. If we hit 13, we had an absolutely unbelievable month of November based on how
we're both in the same camp, 10 to 13. But what I'd like you to do is break down each of those games. So I've told you, I believe we win all the other games by Liverpool. I'm pretty certain one of them will be a draw.
Probably Everton.
I went 2-2 for United.
You've gone 2-2 United and you've gone Liverpool a loss.
Liverpool lost 2-1.
Okay.
Naomi's?
I also went with 10 points as well. I said it would be 3 from Watford, Newcastle, and Everton, and then draw at Man United and lost to Liverpool.
I'm optimistic enough to say that we can beat Liverpool at home.
We haven't got Liverpool at home. We're playing Liverpool.
Sorry, away.
You think we go to Liverpool on their turf with their 12 men, yeah, because the crowd is a 12th man,
Yes.
yeah, and we win against the team that are currently one of the best teams with the world's best player up front.
It's happened before. It can
And the
happen again.
world's best centre back in their defense.
Tony, can I just say?
It happened.
just say,
It happened
Tony?
before. It'll happen again.
I love your optimism, guys. I do. I love your optimism, but I'm just being realistic.
Tone, just imagine if we have a ref that turns up and understands the rules of VAR.
Oh,
Oh wow! Okay.
hold on.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
Yeah, that'll work. So guys, can you tell me each and every one of you what you settled with? Because I'm 10 points. I'm beat Watford, lose to Liverpool, beat Newcastle, draw with Man United, and we beat Everton. That's what I think.
That's right. That's saying me.
Is that?
I'm going to remain optimistic. Okay. At the same time as being optimistic, I'm going to be realistic. They will battle their way to 10 to 13 points. However, nothing is written that Liverpool cannot be beaten at home.
Ooh, guys, bank that. And by the way, you guys probably saw my message earlier on that I missed because we were talking about how hard it is for content creators to make videos, and Ebony said that's easy. So she's been promoted to the producer for the YouTube channel. just kidding. So guys, I think that is that's a fair assessment from you guys. Sorry, I just had to take my medication because I was all over the place. It's been a long day now. I'm back at work, so just have to fit this, just build my stamina up. But we move on to the last and probably the most important, which is, if I can get it up here. There we go. This is it. Yeah, this is it. This is the hardest one. But it wasn't that difficult for our members and subscribers in the chat room because they went for who was Arsenal's player of the month.
Agreed.
They went for a whooping 64% Ramsdale, 7% Aubameyang, 10% Smith Rowe, 7% Smith Ben White, and 10% Gabriel. It wasn't even close. And I actually thought that Gabriel was the best player. So I went for Gabriel.
Same here. I think everybody is so caught up in the last game that they forget when Gabriel wasn't in the side and when he came into the side, the impact that he immediately gave. I think he's the unsung hero. So for me, I saw this poll and I voted and I picked Gabriel. Don't get me wrong, Ramsdale was good and he deserves to be in discussion of this Arsenal's player of the month, along with every other player that's there as well. But I'd have to go with Gabriel, just an absolute sentinel, dealt with everything, led, like he literally is showing Ben White, this is what you need to do, and is really leading from the back.
Outfield player, I would say Gabriel. I mean, he's a rock, and he's that rock that, we've missed. We've missed him. We have really missed him. But, goalkeeping wise, they said, it's going to be Ramsdale. But outfield player, we've missed that rock in Gabriel.
It's tough because, Gabriel last season was a bit inconsistent towards the middle, towards an end part. And I think he may have been injured. Was it?
Yeah.
Gabriel. So it's good that he
had COVID.
Yeah. So it's good that he's come back strong. I think for me, I'm going to give it to Smith Rowe because I think there was a lot of question marks about Smith Rowe coming into this season. And I think for me, with his fitness, it's always something that has been a challenge. And I think he's been huge.
He's got 4 goals and 2 assists. He's the second highest scorer on the team.
Yeah, I think he stepped up where, if Odegaard had performed the way he ended last season, you'd probably think Odegaard would be on this list. Smith Rowe's made a huge impact in October. I'll give it to Smith Rowe personally.
So 18 says Smith Rowe for me. Ryan says Ramsdale by far. Jared B, by the way, Jared said he agrees with me with 10 points. Cool K said he's got to agree as well on 10 points. Andrew's taking a piss. He said Granit Xhaka is my player of the month. Come on, Andrew, behave, man. Who did that? So Vincey had his word. Did Ebony, was you talking about this one as well? Did you have your say?
Outfield player Gabriel. And as I said, we've missed that rock in the back. But obviously, Ramsdale, he has come in and he's surprised a hell of a lot of people, including myself. So, but outfield player, I agree. But then again, Smith Rowe, he's coming to his own. So, you know what? I'm just going to go Robriel because I can't even pick between Gabriel and Rowe.
Robriel, I like it.
Robriel.
Neomis and Tony.
For me, again, for me, it's Gabriel. I understand what everybody else has done. For me, Smith Rowe would have probably been my close second, then probably Ramsdale, Aubameyang, and then Ben White. But I gotta give it to Gabriel. His impact on the defense, which for me is the reason why we've been this good, particularly in the last game, along with Ramsdale. So for me, yeah.
I mean, we shut out Norwich, we shut out Burnley, we shut out Brighton, we shut out Leicester City. Villa just got a last-minute goal against us. Probably so did Tottenham as well. I mean, the defense has been solid since. Remember, in the first 3 games, we didn't have, let alone our new signings. Some of them we did. Odegaard we didn't, and then 9 other players were out in that mix as well. So there was a lot of players missing. I mean, I know Ben White was struggling to sort of fit in. He wasn't well as well. And he only really started to find his feet when he was next to Gabriel. And that's when you started to really say, I don't think he's had a bad game since Gabriel's been next to him, to be honest. So...
Okay, so what is interesting, I've listened to everybody, and you know me, I try to be objective. It's weird how now when I think about it, and based on what everybody said, how did you miss out Tomiyasu?
Because I didn't.
If you can put Ben White in there, Tomiyasu has got to be in there.
Definitely.
So the last 3 games, Tomiyasu has had a 6.5, a 7.5, and a 7, whereas Ben White's had an 8, 8.5 man in the match, and he's had 7.5. So Ben White has been the better player over the last month than Tomiyasu. Tomiyasu's had a bit of a run in the mill, especially against Brighton. I thought the Brighton game was tough, but he stood up. He stood up and he was accountable. The same thing at Crystal Palace as well. He struggled. He had a poor first half, but then he came back and gave as good as he got. That's why people like Tomiyasu, because when a right back or left back gets rinsed, they're on the menu all day. This guy gets run at, and he fights back. He adapts, he changes his game, he fights back, and he starts to improve as the game goes on. So he hasn't been as good as Ben White by any means. Has he been as good as Smith Rowe? No way. Has he been as good as Gabriel? Maybe as good as Aubameyang, but Aubameyang's got 4 goals out of the last 6 or something like that. So yeah, tell me what, I couldn't put Tomiyasu on there. He's been excellent in a few games, but he's been just above average in others. So for me, it wouldn't account for player of the month. Easily player of the month in September. Yeah, I agree, but not for October.
Yeah. I mean, the thing I would say with Tomiyasu is people just don't get past him.
Yeah.
He just literally shuts. He's a lockdown defender. He is a lockdown defender. You talked about his game against Ronaldo. He's that guy.
And it's funny you mention that, because we're about to face Sarr in Watford, and that is Tavares' responsibility. And I think we're going to have an answer to his defensive prowess after this weekend. I think after that game, we're going to come out of it and we're going to say, you know what? They said that defense was his biggest weakness. It ain't that bad. Or we're going to say he got rinsed. And look what Sarr did to Tierney. Look what James at Man United did to Tierney. Look what Zaha did to Tierney. Them guys ripped Tierney apart. They ripped him up. Tierney's had some fantastic games for Arsenal, but a lot of them have been for his play going forward. Defensively, how many of us can say, well, defensively, he was man of the match last season? I'm talking about. You can't really say that, can you? You can't look at one game defensively and say, oh, Tierney was man of the match. He does a lot of his damage as a box-to-box or running the flanks, getting up there and supporting the attack. And so I think there's been this big thing made up of Tavares, which quite frankly is a bit harsh, because I've seen Tierney and I think he's great going forward, but I think he's an average defender. That's just my opinion. I think you put a quality winger against him and he struggles.
Fair enough.
Well, we will see, because we've gone up against Sarr before in the Europa League, and it hasn't been good. I'm not sure whether it was Tierney that was there at the same time when he was at Rennes that we faced him. So it will be interesting against Tavares.
Yeah, I mean, we going up against Chelsea, and the highlighted was, I remember, because Bertrand was sitting there and he was challenging Tierney, because African Guna, Tierney's that's his guy. Yeah. And when I saw him get rinsed for 90 minutes, I just sat back. I didn't say nothing, because I was like, boy, you know what? African Guna, I can't even defend you. Man got pasted for 90 minutes. And then when he played Zaha, that was just a nightmare. So I've seen it happen quite a few times, but I don't think I can sit here and say to you guys, wow, in that game, defensively, Tierney was amazing. I can't remember one game where I said that. I think going forward, helping the strikers, playing the overlap on the left, making himself accountable in the final third, I think he's been fantastic. But as a defender, he's been average.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Think sometimes I think he's one of these players whereby he's so cautious that he's injury prone. So maybe sometimes he doesn't want to push it too much, but he's top quality for me. But
Neomis, tell me what you're thinking of. Your deep thought at the moment. So is Vincey.
The thing is, I wouldn't go as far as to say average defense. I mean, I agree that like his attacking prowess is better, but I'd still say that he's been good defensively. And I will agree with, because when you say average, like I think.
Okay, so what I mean, so let me explain it. So he's a good defender because he was on a team that was the third best defense in the league. So he's not a bad. By no means am I saying he's bad or he's below average. I'm saying when he comes up against elite wingers, he's not been able to hold his ground.
I maybe not elite. Like he has problems with wingers with that can dribble, have pace, and that have strength. And wingers like Saint-Maximin, Zaha, Sarr, Traoré,
when Mahrez just ripped him up.
Mahrez, just like players with like real skill, whereby they know like their game is to beat a man. He gets beat 8 times out of 10, and yeah, I mean that's just I get for me. I just accepted that just isn't in his skill set, and you just need to have a fullback that has a little bit of those qualities, and I think Tavares has those in that he's strong, he's quick, so potentially he should be able to keep up with them. It's probably going to take, like when we go up against Liverpool and Tavares is playing, I think that's probably where you're going to say, let's see how he's going to be able to manage. But I think against Sarr, I think he should be fine. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah.
I mean, what I like about this current front line, I mean, Tierney's 5'8". What I like about this back line is Tomiatsu's 6'2". Tavares is 6 foot. Ben is probably 6'1", and Gabriel is 6'3". I mean, and we've seen what happens when they try to play the ball high on Tomiatsu's side. He's winning every single header.
Yeah, because he's tall for a right back.
He's winning everything.
Tall for a right back.
Yeah, but Tavares is 6 foot and he's fast. He's quick.
That's what we want.
Yeah, he plays like a winger. Like, it's really great seeing him there.
Vincey, tell me what you're thinking of.
You know me. I'm thinking. I agree to agree with what Naomi said. I do think formation is a huge thing. We have to get it right, matching up against those fast wingers. We've got to have our midfield working in tandem with our right backs. You know, we do a lot of focus on our attacking players like Pepe and Smith Rowe, and focusing on, you know, they want the support with the right back. But our midfield also has to work very closely with our fullbacks to provide that support so they don't get overrun. I like Tavares as a player. I like his attributes and his skill set. And yes, it's a case where you have an exceptional, pacey, and tricky winger. It's very difficult. There's a top 2 or 3% at max who can deal with those type of players. So to expect a young player in Tavares to be at that level at this career, it may be a bit much. But I like his footballing brain. He just needs to be at times a little bit disciplined as to when he goes forward. But I could, me personally, I'd be happy playing alongside Tavares as a footballer.
Yeah, I just want to say this is Bobby Borman. Bobby says, I think these first 10 games show that it's essential that we have our first choice players available for most of the time. When players like Partey and Gabriel are missing, we see it in the performances like in the first 3 games. I see, yeah, there's a lot more than them 2 missing in the first 3 games. We had 9 players out. I totally agree with you, Bobby. And G says, I agree, Bobby. To be fair, they brought a lot last year as well. This big spend over the last 2 years, over the last 3 years, mate, 3 years, particularly has fans been was what fans been screaming for. It's really what's given me hope because we actually have the players to win. I think so, but we're not there yet, mate. We're not there yet. Still a few more strikers to go. Andrew says Maitland-Niles is a better defender at left back than Tierney. Maitland-Niles is a better defender than 90% of the players on that team, my friend. Let's tell it how it is. Ashik says, give the whole back line the award for Player of the Month. Yeah, I'd buy into that. Guys, that's it from me. As you know, I'm dying to get off the stream because my voice is giving out on me. I'm going to go upstairs and lie down for a second. But we've covered our first 10 games and we've covered what's most important in the polls. I'm going to do a preview tomorrow for the Watford game. So actually, I was about to ask you guys, actually I will. What's your opinion on the Watford game? Where do you see the scoreline going on us at home to Watford on Sunday, actually?
3-1.
Go on, Colo.
Yeah, 3-1 as well. I think we should be fine. I think Sarr is going to be a bit of a problem. But I think, they don't have enough firepower to really come close to Arsenal.
Deeney's gone now, and it hasn't need to Birmingham.
Yeah. Deeney's gone, so they don't have that X factor. It's for me. It's on Sarr's the only real threat that they have. It's a bit of a shame. And I don't know what you think of him, but if Arteta really is trying to, at the end of the season, he's going to have to start to redesign our attack. I'd love to have a guy like Sarr at Arsenal. So, yeah.
Alexander Haleb was a player.
He was.
When you finish, guys, just so you know, Arsenal kicked off against Wigan from Highbury on Sky Sports Premier League.
Oh.
Yeah. It's 14 minutes in. It's just lovely to watch that team, man. Alexander Haleb in the middle of the park.
I might do that and lie down and get some rest and do that. Tony, and Vincey, where do you see us with Watford over the weekend?
Solid win. I'm even going to go for a 3-0.
Oh, wow. 3-1, 3-1, and 3-0. Vincey?
Yeah. Yes, Big Soul. Yes, Big Soul.
I've gone for a 3-1 victory. I think we've got to also not just focus on Sarr, but keep an eye on King. King can
Josh King.
King can play. So I think 3-1 is going to be the result. I was going to ask you, Apollo, did you want our 10-game predictions?
Not really, no. I mean, I only do them for the start of the season. I don't really do them mid-term.
Oh, you don't do mid-term? Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I just thought the whole thing was starters you mean to go on, as the saying goes. So the whole point of the first 10 games is we all don't know what the team is. We don't know. Now we do. So it's very difficult for us to we couldn't see the wood through the trees in the summer. Now we're at a point after 10 games where we can. So there'd be less of a importance on predictions. The predictions are very important in the summer because it's an unknown commodity.
But you know, I think it goes in hand with where we're going to finish fourth, because you know, if we want Champions League, a lot of things have got to change, and you know, you're talking about a serious unbeaten run that you know can go on to historic levels. You know, you stop and you think about it. But I've done mine, and I'll send it. I'll add them to your preview for each game.
Yeah, definitely. So, Andrew, before I go, Andrew says, Apollo, you are watching your stamina. I really am, and I'm getting it from the wife as well. So, leave any rigorous activity. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. They've got me working at home for the first few weeks as well, so I'm not actually on the road until another couple of weeks. So, I'm taking it time. And I just came back from Pilates this evening as well before the stream, so maybe that's what done me in.
Oof.
All right, guys, listen.
Guys, let me just run through this team for you. James Lateman, Ashley Cole, Sol Campbell, Kola Toure, Lauren, Haleb, Fabregas, Gilberto, Robert Pires, Jose Antonio Reyes, and Thierry Henry. What a team!
What?
We got a team on this one.
That's a classic team right there. One of the classic teams right there.
This is a great team. The kit is one of my favourite
classic kits as well.
So was that when Moses was at Wigan? No, that wasn't when he was at Wigan. Who was at Wigan then?
Jason
Roberts.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Oh my God. All right, guys. Listen, thanks for joining us for the stream, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with the Watford Arsenal preview. I haven't been able to find. I haven't found a Watford fan. Could you believe that? I live in Boreham Wood and I can't find a Watford fan who can do a preview with their team. I'll try and. Yeah, it's difficult, man. A lot of these teams like that, it's a struggle for them to come on and talk about their team.
I'll reach out to my mate who was the Watford announcer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Richard Short, my friend. He used to be their announcer. He might even still be doing it, as far as I know.
Yeah, nice one. That would be brilliant if that happens. All right, guys. And then Friday, we're going to be back with the Premier League show. And guys, we'll see you in the next one. Big up Arsenal and enjoy the week, man.
Right.
Nice one, guys.